This is Kelley Springer.
Hi, and this is Barbara Worsley, otherwise known as the East Coast Dragon Lady. I always feel funny when I say Barbara Worsley. Yeah, but yes. So here we are on our podcast, our
Number three.
three. Yes, our third podcast.
Where's the
And
fourth? Well, this is our
post
third.
full moon. Yeah, the full moon was Monday, right? The 19th.
Yep.
Yeah, post full
We
moon.
just had a beautiful full moon. Yeah, the sturgeon full moon.
Was it blue moon?
It was also a blue moon.
Mm.
And
That's
so once in a blue moon, the blue moons happen every 2 or 3 years. They're rare and wonderful. So we just had an amazing blue moon.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I think we've certainly got, so we've had some challenges again, sorting out the video, but hopefully we've got it with us side by side now. But so we've taken some time and we've actually know what we're going to talk about. So I think every time we do this, we've got a little bit better, and we're used to doing this anyway, but it's like when you're on camera, it's a bit different. So so we took full moon was on the 19th, but I think the big thing for me this month has been Mercury being retrograde, which that energy has been really intense. Have you felt that?
Yeah, I've definitely had a lot of people talking to me about just feeling a lot of stretch, So I think we're all being a bit stretched. Yep.
Yeah, and so I did a bit of investigating because I've noticed that this year in particular, I've felt each Mercury retrograde like I don't remember feeling it so intensely as other years, but this year, and there's 4 this year. So if we think this one is bad, there's one more to come. So we'll have four this year. So that's in November 25th to December 15th is the last retrograde. But I think what's been interesting, like you said, that a lot of people have been feeling it. And I've been feeling like, wow, it's been bringing up for me sort of old patterns, old feelings, which are obviously ready to come up. But I thought it was interesting that as Mercury is retrograde and they're coming up, that seems to be the pattern for me this year, that every retrograde, more stuff comes up.
That's wonderful. I think sometimes I always have experienced in my journey, especially doing work in service, that when my services kind of close off and the doors shut, that I know it's time to work on myself. So what you were saying about stuff coming up from the past really makes sense.
Right.
So, it's a good time to do a self deep dive and to go in and meet what's coming up. I always have some sort of signal when I have some sort of inner peccadillo that's coming up for me to chew on. It's like spirit lets me know, hey, look, you got this little guy in here and he needs some attention. So
yeah. Well, so what I noticed as well is that I've been like connecting back with archangels, and my journey has been that I was channeling archangels for a long time before the dragons appeared, and I feel like I've been taken back into, it's almost like the wings of the angels have actually sort of wrapped themselves around and said, come back into our fold for now, come back. And like you made sense of that, like feeling that you need to go back and like shut the doors for a while and let's see, because I think it brings up a lot of intensity for people, and depending on what's up for you is what comes up.
Yes. Well, I also think these are intense times. It is definitely part of that. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a little while, but I'm with you. I feel like that's true. And it brings up, and when stuff bubbles up, no matter when it's happening in our life, whether it's Mercury retrograde or not, it's an opportunity to look at it. But I know that during retrograde moments, to me, that energy, if it's not pulsing out, it's pulsing in. So when the pulse is going in, 9 times out of 10, it's a good time to do self-work or to support people in self-work. It can also be a time of being of service where you're aware that, oh, this is a time when a lot of people are going through so much. And if your energy is in a plus factor moment, you can be more of service to them and support others. And I find myself doing both of those things at times, where sometimes it's like, and the dragons are oftentimes like, hey, Kelley, you need to fortify. So they'll bring a lot of energy to me to get me stronger. And I'll be like, yeah, why am I building up all this? And then all of a sudden I have a wave of people who are like really, really needy and really suffering or really going through some hard times. And I'm having to show up for a lot of people in community. And oftentimes I will just feel like I can get through it like a breeze, because that fortifying energy from my dragons actually helped me be ready. So I've had that experience too.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I had, and I did a little clip this morning, because the dragons were going, get on and talk about Mercury being retrograde for you, like bring the personal to it, because there are going to be other people out there feeling it as well. And for me, when I've been pulling cards each day just for a message, the wind dragon keeps appearing, and that's clearing my path. And I talked as well about that pattern of like, when you, and I was pulling cards from various decks and I'm getting the same ones, which means pay attention, right? You need to pay attention. And it's all about looking at what's coming up. I mean, like I couldn't get enough, I've got enough messages to say, look at it, right? And ground yourself. And
will you do a card for us now?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Let's
see if do a card from Barbara's deck. Let's do a little oracle right now for us, for this moment, for all of you listening, to
just take so happen that I have a deck handy.
Barbara's new deck is out and available for any of you who want it. I've been using it. It's lovely and it's a delightful deck. So it's been really inspirational and helpful. And I play with it in my daily life, and I've been enjoying her new cards. They're wonderful. Okay, you got one.
Yes, the Guardians of Direction. Right? Stay grounded, put down your roots, which is they're all very blingy and bright, and but that's the Guardians are giving us that message. They're of all four directions, and they're saying, stay grounded, put your roots down. Because I think oftentimes when we're wobbling, that's when we need to feel ourselves planted much more. Because sometimes, I've also said this before, I'm a Pisces, so I tend to like drift up. So sometimes I've got to pull myself back down, right? But that makes perfect sense.
Our year of the dragon is really helpful for us this year because it's a wood dragon. And the wood dragon is all about the trees. And this is a really potent year for all of us to be grounding in to ourselves and to the earth, to plug in and become the one-legged, the antenna. And I think of trees as antennas to the spirit world, plugged into the earth, connected, plugging into heaven with your branches, pulling down heaven. So in order to really pull down heaven and be able to hold it in that place of strength, like what you were talking about, to me is to be really good and rooted. Without those roots, if you have a lot of branches without roots, you're topply, you can pull over a swift wind and you're down. So wanting to have that groundedness is really partnered with not only this year of the dragon, but also with being practical and centered and having focus, especially when you're wanting to go someplace and have your energy being directed in a place that's positive and on your path. I like to be really mindful of the path I'm on. And when I'm in my daily life, it's like, what am I doing? Where am I going? And some amazing things in the midst of having this sort of noticing of tension in the world too, as well as my own daily life. Like you, I was experiencing a lot of kind of, and just, for me, it was like just a lot of people less available, a lot of people wanting service, but not feeling ready for it yet. Like a lot of people saying, yeah, I want to do some work with you, but later. and it's the end of summer. That end of summertime, a lot of people are just kind of busy, and so I find that to be sort of typical of this time of the year. But at the same time, there's an tension, a kind of heating up of energy that has been sort of wanting to foment in some way. And I feel like that's been more global with the earth. And we've been doing a lot of light around that with golden energy, containment, and asking for things to not manifest, as we have worked together. And Barbara will be right back. She's going to let her dog in, I'm sure of it. We have puppies. So as this energy for the earth is right now, there's so much going on in the US, for instance. We're getting ready for a presidential election. That's real steamy. We have our first woman being put in the seat of president for elect president. That's huge. No matter the outcome, that's big for our world. And for the US in their leadership, to see a woman stepping into that position is both exciting and also a real interesting dynamic about the feminine rising in our world and our planet. And there's this tension in the air when we're in the political election year. Usually it's not unusual to have that, but we also have a lot of energy that is boiling around the world, around things that need to get worked out between countries, and to start de-escalating war specifically. And really wanting to bring us into a place of conversation with each other. I mean, let's work out a way to work out our differences and use our words, can we? And could we not resort to violence? And can we stop killing each other today? So the containment of golden energy around that has been a deep prayer. And I've been very active, like probably 10 times more active this month on prayer watch and prayer vigils for peace, working with global groups and global people, praying for peace and keeping a lid on energies that want to escalate, asking that they not do so, and that we find solutions, resolutions, and alternative ways of doing things. So while we've had this tension, we're also calling in this cool down. And it was really interesting. Something happened this last week that was really kind of amazing. I sent a post out about it, but I don't know if you saw it, but it snowed on Mount Shasta.
Mount Shasta. Yes, I did. Yes.
In the middle of August, which, folks, that doesn't happen. This is a sacred mountain. I've been around Shasta and working with that sacred mountain for 30 years and more. But that has been like pretty amazing that we do not see snow in this early part of the year, certainly not that much. And it was very interesting. So I felt like that was actually answering a prayer to the cool down. Like something is really being asked to cool down. If we're bringing in snow now, it's because we're cooling off, and we're wanting to cool something off.
Right. The other thing I was going to say when you're talking about elections is that there's been a lot of other countries around the world that have had elections. So it's like around globally. I know France, South Africa, Australia, like all this year have had elections. So it's even more. And when it reminded me when you talked about like, this is the first time we've had a woman running that could possibly be president. I lived in England many years under Margaret Thatcher, well, for most of my Margaret Thatcher. So nobody ever thought like that was weird to have a female prime minister. So it's interesting here. I am in America and people are like, it could be, we could at least. So there's that shift in.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting that around the world, there have been a lot of unexpected elections as well. I understand. Yeah.
Well, women have been in other seats in our government, but no one has ever been president. So this is a big step forward for women in leadership in our world, in this part of our world anyway, to have a potential of that and to see what's going to unfold with where, the cookies, where the cookies fall, going through all of that.
Yeah.
And I know that and I agree. Yes, the growing tensions and global activities that are all not just the political side. Like I said, there's all this activity also around changes. There's also a lot of activity around things that are collapsing and are falling apart. And in some ways, that's a good thing. And we're needing new systems and new things to be born. And with that, the call from Sophia and the dragons has been about recognizing that this big need to gather and to come together in families of light. And it was so interesting. I saw a post from Teal Swan saying this next week we're gathering, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's so right. I was really appreciating her words. So I've been also aware that in the same messages have been coming to me that we are gathering now, and the families of light are coming together, and energies are coming together, and really bringing us together right now, because we are in a time where these connections are actually pivotal to creation. And some of that energy could be us coming together with not just people, but the earth itself and places we feel called to go. Sometimes you get like inspired to suddenly go someplace, and I'm taking a trip this weekend that unfolded,
it's unfolding as we speak.
it is. I literally got called and into a group, and we're all going together to a very sacred place. I'm leaving this Sunday for Italy to go to Dom and her. And that spiritual community is pivotal for a lot of reasons for me, because I'm doing work with global structures for gathering groups and bringing us together and looking at how to support women in particular coming together to work together on the planet. So it's going to be interesting because I'm now working with, I am now part of the council core group for the Grandmother Council, the Global Grandmother Councils Network group. And we're coming together and beginning to actually work on formalizing our organization. And so I've been asked to come and be part of that core group, which is a huge honor. And I'm very excited about working with them. And I also feel it's a part of my calling and my path to be involved with that. So I feel like I'm in the right place, going in the right direction.
Yeah. The dragons are pointing in the right direction. Yeah.
Yeah. So beautiful. And I'm really looking forward to this birth experience with everyone, because it's like when we came together in our journey work, how we would birth these amazing experiences of knowing, connecting, and energy fields would be born. And I do believe that out of that creation opportunity, there are things that are going to be happening. What does your wise woman say about that?
But my wise woman about what's going to be happening. Well, yeah, we had this conversation earlier. I think that I see that there's people that are being drawn to this work, not because you advertise it, or not because it's just they're being drawn because of their past or their past connections. But I see more teachings coming out of this, because that's what people are looking for. I mean, I think you've run it twice now, the Temple of Light.
Oh, the Temple of Light Dragon Journey, yes.
Dragon Journey. You've done that a couple of times, and I think like we're doing it again. And I've been fortunate. I was in the first class, and I'm now working with you as an assistant, and I'm seeing, like, as people are coming in, that they're even higher vibration than before. So we're seeing that vibration is rising. So that's what I see, is that this, as you said, gathering of people and like souls coming together. I've also been guided to look more closely at what our soul purpose is, or what is the soul. And it's really come out in my channeling and about my soul family and what is a soul, and how do we like we know that we travel in soul groups. And I think what's been interesting is connecting with people that you wouldn't expect to be in your soul group, right? Because there's somebody that's been out there as like a straggler that suddenly comes in, or the connections that we've had as sisters. And, you know, that's significant of having 7 of us in that second group. So I think there's definitely that feeling of whatever's going on out in the world, that there's a gathering of people. And I also felt when you said that gathering, I also know there's a gathering out in the galaxies, like the terrestrials are coming together. I've had a few conversations and been taken on a few occasions up to I actually was invited to a council meeting to be part of that. And I was shown this arena that was filled with beings. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it. A huge arena. And there was activity going on. And they wanted me to be, I was given like a back seat to go in and look. But it was fascinating just to be taken there. And they said, we want you to see this gathering. It's not just you're gathering on Earth, we're gathering, all beings are coming together in unity.
Yeah, that is a beautiful galactic arena where you're talking about. Did you notice how it like has hundreds of levels and balconies that just go up forever? And I've been there and many times, and I know where you're talking about. It's an amazing place. In the Galactic Federation, there are places where we gather. There are hubs and places where we meet and connect. And hubs are like circles where energies come together and unite. And I don't know, I use that word a lot, but it just keeps coming through because I feel like we're gathering into hubs, which are circles. We're gathering into circles and groups. One of the most beautiful things about what you just said too, that I think is true, is that galactic connection is coming through us at the same time this earthly connection is coming through us. I do think that there's a lot of purpose in those threads meeting, because I believe that we're pulling down heaven and we're pulling down heaven onto earth, and we're manifesting out of that you know, that beautiful light thread from these families of light that are coming together to create together. But the most beautiful thing about the witnessing of it is that we are creating new invention. Like there's literally something new being born. And I was told by the dragons many, many times, and I may have shared this before with all of you, but I can't see why repeating it would hurt. So it's interesting that we've been shown that this birthing that we're talking about happening when we are coming together in these moments of synergizing and meeting are going to actually create something new that hasn't been on Earth. Now, when we think about everything in existence has happened already, and you hear people say that. And so when the dragon started telling me this, I was like, huh, what are you talking about? What's new? Like, how can you mean that? And so it was a big conundrum for me when I heard that from the dragons years ago. They told me this. And then I was like, you know, I'm still like, you know, kind of baffled about that because, you know, come on. People have reached enlightenment in this universe. That's not new. It's like, come on, where are we going? Where are you going with this idea of something that hasn't been born into this creation field? That's exciting to think about. And it's also being born out of something that actually is new. So the dragons and I have been journeying, and part of your experience in the temple work with me actually took us there. So remember when we got to go beyond this universe and go into new universes and find new creation and actually bring new energy of purity to this earth. That was a big leap. And it helped us to see into, wow, there really is a potential for something really new to find its way here. And it's coming from someplace greater outside of our universe in the multiverse, and from pure places where the energy and light is ready to give you new instructions. And in the unanimity of self-connection with each other, there is an amazing portal that gets born in the midst of us when we come into these sacred circles and we begin to do sacred work with our heart-to-heart connections. activating that light is really, really important from your hearts. And being able to show up in a sacred place of saying, let's all be quiet for a minute and drop in to listen. And I think deep listening is going to be really important for people in these moments when they come together. Really hearing each other when you're talking, allowing everyone to have their voice and listening to one another. Because in dream work that I did years ago, I learned something from my friends from Australia, the Dreamtime carriers. They taught me in the Dreamtime about when we're working with sharing our dreams, and they call it the waking dream, we're dreaming right now. This is a dream.
Yeah.
We're just dreaming awake this moment. So when we're in this moment of dreaming and sharing, our words with each other carry symbols and information that oftentimes we don't know what's going to have meaning for each other when we're in the sharing place of it. It's like, I don't know what you're taking in that matters to you. And you don't know what I'm taking in that you're speaking that matters to me. But there are oftentimes keys, and you may say something and I may say something, and those keys go into us, and it's like there's a bloom that happens with the words, and it actually comes through listening and really paying closer attention in the listening to each other. This is oftentimes something we struggle with in our culture because we're also mentally distracted, that when we go into listening, half the time we're sort of listening, but also doing 3 other things with our mind, or thinking about a half a dozen things, like, what am I going to cook for dinner tonight? And well, I got to feed the dog. And it's just the daily life of living. So when we can come out of the world for a moment and actually create a circle of intention for being quiet and listening, I believe our potential to create, manifest, and birth together becomes much greater. And it's about giving it attention. So it's a call to attention and a call to gather, but a call to give attention to the gathering, and allow these moments of coming together to be meaningful and to give us gifts. We will receive gifts in them, and things will be happening. And it's going to be exciting with where I'm going in the next week to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. And it would be interesting to see what you bring back from that, because it wasn't planned, it was unexpected, and it's sort of a gift for you.
It wasn't planned. The group that I'm going with actually have been planning to go there for some time, and they keep kind of collecting and building and gathering, and it was just like I felt like I just got brought into the nest. The nest was already there with a whole lot of eggs and a whole lot of babies already in it, birthed. And it just like, oh, wow, well, you belong in this nest with us. So, it's a bit like finding tribe. Finding our tribe is very deeply connected to this. And for me, when I think about tribe, I know there's the cultural idea of tribe on the earth and people, humans. But on another level, there's the frequency tribes. And the frequency tribes are much bigger and are gathering in terms of size. There's 9 of them on the earth, and very specific, that are partnered with creation here. So our 9 frequency families are a big part of what are calling us together and bringing us to each other. And we are really finding our resonant family in that energy. And I believe that there's some beautiful magic that's going to be coming from that as well. Sophia's been really inspiring and helpful. So when you can tap into her and your own personal dragons, I believe you'll get greater clarity for yourself about direction and where you should seek to gather. So I invite you to kind of call that in, and maybe I could do a little sounding on that for us here. That'd be good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
My bowl here. Let me find my little, there we go. I'll use my song bowl for us on this one. My emerald heart bowl.
I was going to say it's a beautiful green.
Yeah, this is an emerald infused crystal bowl. And I found this one on Amazon. How about that? And it was interesting when I bought this bowl. My sister and I bought bowls at the same time. I got this one, and she got a rose quartz bowl. And we both felt like we needed to be singing and meditating more together at that time. I happened to be living with her for a time, and so it was wonderful when I got this bowl.
Yeah.
With my sister. Yeah. So, all right. So I invite all of you right now in this moment to take a deep breath and drop into your heart. Drop into the earth. And drawing up the earth energy into your heart, inviting the spin and gathering your energy, going up into the light of your crown, through your third eye, bringing your energy up into the divine, connecting to the source, the heart of the divine. Plugging into the source, honoring all paths here. And bringing that light from the divine back into yourself, feeling the commingling of the earth and the heavens meeting in our hearts in this moment. And we're going to call to Divine Mother Sophia to come. And we also will invite in the Father to hold the balance. And bringing in the element of pink and gold for us in this moment with our dragons, the golden dragons, the pink dragons, the dragons of the Divine Mother Father, their elemental power in consciousness, joining us here right now in this meditation, and to invite messages for all of us to come, to give us direction, to seek that place of gathering. Here we go. Breathing in peaceful energy, loving energy. Inviting your dragon to breathe its breath down through your center, through the top of your head, going down through your body, inviting to let go of anything that doesn't serve you, inviting that toroidal breath and pure white light to cleanse you. Feel yourself taking those first 3 deep breaths here with that intention. And one more. And now drawing up that energy from the crystalline heart of Gaia, the emerald heart, the white diamond heart, the blue heart of creation with the new earth, bringing up the trinity of the 3 hearts of Gaia, bringing up the light through the core of your being, and this beautiful rainbow light coming through with your dragons around the whole of your body. 3 breaths, inviting to fill the voids and light the way. And feeling the blessing of your dragon's breath, tingling a little bit all over, allowing your body to adjust with the subtlety of the shifting energies in service to you. And finding our gathering hearts right now as we seek to know the messages and direction for ourselves. Going into that place and listening. As we end our podcast here shortly, to take even more time if you should need it, to pause and receive. Allow yourself to take in this energy even more, giving you vision and direction. We invite also all of you to unite your prayers with ours, with all the elder prayers around the world today for peace, and to join us in that prayer every day. And praying for peace for our world is very important for all of us right now. So I invite you all to join us in that intention. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Because while you were doing that, life happened for me. So I went off camera for a bit. As when, when we plan these things, right? And then life happens.
I told you that you were going to be off taking care of your dog.
Yeah, and then a few other things as well. Yeah, that's what happens when you have old dogs, right? But yes, that was beautiful. Thank you, Kelley. I think that's what we needed to pull that energy that we were feeling in. And I know that we're almost at the end of our time for a podcast. I know you've got to go off and take care of stuff, but we really want you to do. We sort of promised to do these every 4 weeks, and we're also going to invite. We're going to have guests again, but we thought we would just come together this time.
Yes. In fact, I have a free class that's going to be happening in the first week in September. You'll need to check my website because the dates are being set right now. I'm putting it up today. But the times and specifics will be ironed out today, and then we're going to have that available. It's going to be like sometime after the 6th, the first week in September. That is a free 2-hour masterclass called Song of Returning Dragon Journey to Wholeness. And I'm going to be talking about and sharing about the inner journey and the empowerment work of how that can be assisted, working with elemental powers as your own connection, and learning how to work with dragons and understand them more in cooperation with inner personal growth work. So, and that's really deep and amazing work that I love to share about. And I also have a course that I'm going to be offering in October for the next Temples of Light Dragon Journey 111, which will be starting in October sometime in the first weeks of October. It's a 7-week course doing deep journey work with Sophia, celestial dragons, higher light bodies, and traveling to the origins of Temple and Light, starting with the earth and working our way to the edge of the universe. And it is an amazing ascension course for any of you who feel called or interested. Check it out. And please, our websites are both available. Barbara's cards are available now, and please play with them. They're amazing. I recommend them. I've been having a lot of insight using her dragon cards, and they've been spot on, like really good. So she created a wisdom deck with celestial knowledge and ancientness.
With the ancients and the galactics. And and a lot of people are saying, like, when they ask a question, it's the absolute, like I did just now. It's like, and the dragons, you know, channeled them with me, and you know, they wanted this wisdom to go out into the world, and they thought this was one way. There's many ways, but they wanted this particular, especially the guardians and the ancients.
Yes.
So it's ancient.
So the codes are there. Hear her words. She's saying the codes are here for you. And so the codes are in her deck and are really well worth having. So for those of you who haven't gotten yours yet, order them.
Go to
Comes in this little container with a great little book. And I really love it. Barbara, you did an outstanding job making this deck. It's really beautiful. And I really support you all to know how powerful and beautiful this deck is. And it's a wonderful key for working with these energies that are happening right now with new creation. So you might want to get yours like yesterday. And I will be, yesterday, okay?
Yesterday. Not today, yesterday.
And Barbara's website is on our YouTube channel here. When you click on it, you can see her website, and mine is there. And we also have an email for this podcast. If you want to talk to us or have ideas or would like to discuss being on our show, you can send us a message on our email. And one of us will be checking it.
So, yes. And also, because we're on YouTube, we have to say subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Subscribe to us.
Subscribe. Hit that
subscriptor to us.
Yes.
And we would love for you to be joining us every month. And we're hoping to be developing this show into something greater and larger. And hopefully we will be networking it more onto some other sites. We just got our legs under us for starting this, and been just on YouTube, but we're about to launch it into something greater. So it will be going out on other channels, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the others soon. So we're excited about that, and that'll be our bloom. So be looking for the flowers.
Stay tuned.
And as things are blooming in your life and your path, we hope that they're all good, and that wonderful things are coming your way, and that beauty is finding its way to you each and every day, and lots of love from us.
Yes, from us to you. So our hearts to your hearts.
Our hearts to your hearts. Big love wave.
Big
wave. All right. Well, have fun with your dragons. Enjoy this next fall season as it begins to take us into the next steps of wherever we're going here in the Northern Hemisphere. And for those of you in the North and the Southern Hemisphere,
that's right.
It's beautiful spring.
That's right.
Into it. So as we spring and fall, I love these in-between seasons. They are my favorite times of the year when lots of change happens and lots of good comes. So blessing on all of that for everyone who's listening from wherever you are, and take really good care.
Thank you.
Bye.